I think it was something was wrong with it.
All right, well, it's March 19th, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Look what we got on the old fire chicken, the Camaro bird. I don't know what you want to call this now, but we got some eBay headers with Richard's help underneath there. We got the cross member for the transmission.
It fits. It fits.
Checking out what they want, what they call a what do they call that? A service plate for the transmission. We got this side mounted up. Header. Moving right along.
It fit on there.
Oh yeah.
You got a bunch of bolts.
Bolt it up and see how it fits.
Lined up with the transmission, really nice.
The broken thing back, the rose for it.
March 26th, 9:13, 9:14 in the morning, something like that. And today, AC heater delete. I'm deleting all this from the car. All these hoses. You got the AC condenser up there. All this is getting taken off the car, and I'm putting a flat plate on it. Why? Because we don't need this where we're going. So I kind of came across a snag. As you can see down there, this bottom bolt. I don't know what they did. Like they put a lot of rubber sealer or something down there on. And it's probably stripped out, to be honest. So what I think I'm gonna do is cut it off. All right. Well, with a little bit of trial and error, I think I finally got this thing off. That side was kind of, fighting me a little bit. And you got all these wires. What are you gonna do with them? Just kind of fish them out of the way. You gotta figure out what's connected still, like this. It's like some kind of solenoid. These are the wires for the blower motor. That should pop off. But cars from 1978. These wires right here should just pop right off. There we go, there's one. My goal is to eventually put all this back on, because having a car that has options like power steering, power brakes, AC, all this back in 1978 was actually a hot commodity. It's pretty cool to have all those doodads, I guess you could say. That's a dumb word. Anyways, all those accessories, that's the word I was looking for. So my goal is to take all this off, and then I'll be able to show you what's broke. All this is broke on the backside. This is all fiberglass. It's all cracked. I mean, it's got a giant hole, and kind of right in here, this is all cracked. The fact that it's intact, though, it can be replaced. I can easily go out and get a fiberglass kit with patches and a thing of fiberglass and fix this, paint it, put it back on, and it'll be good as new. But for now, we're just taking it off. It's called an AC heater delete. Air conditioning heater delete. And of course this wire is going to give me a hard time. So I was going to get in underneath the dash and figure out where to take the heater core out. But the more I think about it, this is an old heater core. It's gonna have to get replaced eventually. I don't really want to take the time right now to figure out how to get it out, so I just cut the pipes there, and then what we're gonna do is grind them down flush, and then I'm gonna further clean up that whole firewall area to test fit that plate. What's going on? All right, well, just, you know, you got to use the biggest grinder that your dad has in the shop, the biggest grinder. Which is actually too big because I'm having troubles getting in here, right? So you gotta assume the position. I also noticed this bolt was really long, kind of sticking out. Just went ahead and took that off. Now these are, I think, what actually holds the, it's what holds the thingamajob, the doohickey back there. It's what holds it in place. Oh boy. The heater core. These two bolts hold the heater core in place, but it's not going to do much damage. Just grinding those down. You want to keep these studs because that's what actually bolts it in place. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to test fit that plate real quick. Gonna look something like so. Yeah, those two bolts kind of need to be cut off. So then it'll just sit in there. It'll just sit in there. Kind of like that. You know, just look. Now I don't even need to bolt it in. I'm done. Let's go. All right, well, through trial and error, I got all this surface pretty clean to come back with some silicone to put this plate on. And one thing my Uncle Ronnie recommended is use a plastic bag, because all this wiring that goes to the AC and the heater, blower motor, I'm going to tuck into the vent here, which, yes, he also had a good point where I'm going to lose some kind of ventilation when it comes to defrost for the windshield. But that is okay because this car is not going to be a daily driver. I went ahead and notched this out for the wiring harness. Kind of notched it out right here too on the inlet part of the vent. Rounded it out. I had to drill one hole for down here, but check it out. Slides in place, bolts up right there, bolts up right down here. Got one there, one down here. One there. This one's kind of hard to start because I took a grinder to it and shortened the threads on this stud. And then there you go. I mean, obviously I'm going to come back and I'm going to fill in all the bolt holes. And this is just a test fit, dry fit as they call it. This wire has a little bit of movement to it. And eventually what I can do is I'll come back and I'll figure out what wires I need for the motor. And I can just unbolt this, pull some of those wires out, bolt it back on, call it good. I think it looks pretty good, to be honest. I mean, I gotta find a couple more bolts. Like I said, this is just a dry fit, just to make sure it all fits in there really good. I had to drill one hole for this stud right here. But when you buy plates like this pre-made off of eBay for dirt cheap, that's what you get. There's a bolt hole that goes there and there. And I notched that out pretty good. That the wires have a little bit of movement to it. You know, just doing some race car shit.